get a lot of questions about the raw diet and Ben. So I wanted to answer the questions while I was literally prepping the food. So the raw diet is to feed your dog raw food. Now, a lot of questions are how do you feed them? So it varies on obviously a lot of variables, and I'll put up a rawfeddog.org. I'll put up that on the screen here when we chop it up. But that's the resource that gave me a lot of information from details. But every dog's a little different from how big they are to also where they're at. But once you're into it, once you've transitioned them off of kibble, once you've done that, it's relatively simple. There's a weight amount based off how big your dog is and how much food you give your dog. Again, no different than traditional kibble that you're probably used to feeding. But the biggest thing is that you want to have mainly chicken. We use chicken thighs, so we just order some chicken thighs. We buy them and then cut them up, and then we also the key ingredient is liver. That's important. It's where they get some essential vitamins from there, and then from there other organ meat, heart, esophagus, stuff like that. So you want to mix that up, and I believe it's like 20% is from liver, and then there's a percentage breakdown. I'll put all of it on the screen for you. I'll also link the site that I got a lot of my information from, and then from there a little preparation, no different than human food, is important. But raw bone is super important. It's easily overlooked. Don't freak out. It's cooked bone that splinters, not raw bone. So the bone is where they get their calcium. We also give Ben, when he eats, we give him an egg. I crush up the shell, and he eats the shell as well. So obviously, the more natural you can get, so you can get pasture, like a farm in your backyard, that's going to be good to go. But again, beef liver, chicken liver, that's fine. And then we just go to Wegmans. We get chicken thighs and other costs, right? So this costs us $5, and it's so it's $1 a pound, so it's about 5 pounds, $1 a pound. And I have right now, so we caught $15 total. The liver was not even $1. So then we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So 24, we're talking maybe 12. We're talking, it's a month's worth of food right here. So about a month for $20. So another one is like, oh, it sounds expensive. Not if you cut it up and you do it yourself. You can absolutely buy raw food. Stella and Chewy's is how we started, Ben. And you can absolutely buy that stuff, and it's way more expensive, but like no different than anything else. It's like going to Whole Foods and buying fully cooked, prepared food from the hot bar, or cooking it yourself. Oh, hello. And he knows that I'm cutting up the food. Ben? Not yet. I let him lick the thing. I don't. Marin really does, the boss lady. So that's the, excuse me. Here, I'll give you a little bit. Now, good boy. Okay, off. Now, the biggest concern often people have is like cleanliness around the house. Well, this is no different than you preparing your own food in your house, and then you just got to clean up for it. Veterinarians and in the States, unfortunately, don't understand the concept. They're often like human food. They're funded by. You're telling me like Purina and all these other things, so they get all that. When they sent me the data on the raw food diet, the bottom of the and then when they told me not to do it, they said, well, the reason why is because it's dangerous for your house. It's not sanitary. Well, don't let your dog run around with raw food in its mouth, just like you probably shouldn't let your dog run around with any type of food in its mouth. Have its little dinner area, food area, and you're good to go. I also take the fat off the chicken thighs. The bigger the dog, they can handle more fat, and you can kind of figure that out. But it's like anything, they're like humans. So if you eat too much fat as a human, you get a little dyspeptic, you get diarrhea. You can manage your dog's stool there. No different with the organ meat. If you give them too much right off the bat, they'll be a little runny. So you can, and then bone will obviously tighten it up. So you'll learn, just like you've learned about your own diet, of what the right ratio is. Don't stress out about the exact ratio of liver meat and chicken and bone in one meal. It's really across multiple meals, and that's probably the best advice I was given. Transitioning, they'll give you a transition phase on the website I'll put up for you guys, but just wanted to share that with you guys to get a lot of questions on the raw diet. It's cut down on allergies. We don't have to brush his teeth. His coat is super clean every time we bring him to the vet. And the vet that told us not to put him on the raw diet, she's like, oh, he's beautiful, he's well behaved, he's so healthy. You know, he has as a golden doodle, he does have a little bit of allergies, but there's nothing that you can do much about that, other than, you know, we give him, you know, baths and shit like that, and he's fine. But it's way better than from what I've seen and heard of other people. And he's just like anyone else. If you have allergies, you can manage it. He's an animal, so he does a good job. So feed your animals what they're meant to eat. I'm blown away that people that don't feed their dog raw, I think it's irresponsible, quite honestly. You know, no different than it's irresponsible for humans to eat like shit and, you know, get obese and get sick and then, you know, be a strain on the healthcare system. So be responsible, learn, transition your dog off if you can. If you have questions, hit me up. But, you know, we should treat our animals with respect because we have a responsibility to take care of them. So hopefully you found this helpful. Shoot me any questions and I'll be sure to hit you back.
Another aspect of the raw diet they got to make sure you have is organ meat other than liver. So this is heart. Simple. Cut it up. Give it to that little guy. So make sure you cut it up into small little pieces. I'll cut this up probably into even quarters beyond this and throw it into his bag. And then we'll have a good balanced diet of mostly chicken, always have some liver in there, and then other organ meat, which is important to have. There it is. Super cheap too. A whole heart was $2. So that's a month worth of meals right there. All said and done. Then we just put it in the freezer. Just like that. Fill it up. So there, about a month and a half, almost 2 months worth of food in the left-hand side of the freezer for that little guy. Nice work, buddy. That's a meal for the big dog. We got a half of an apple, egg with the shell, chicken, some liver in there. We get him a little bit of fish oil. Boom. It's time for dinner. Wanna eat? Hungry? Come on. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's okay. He doesn't like the camera. Go ahead. He eats it up.